Good morning, everyone. My name is Renee Buckland, and I will be your worship partner today. It's been 18 months since I did this. I sure hope I remember how. Thank you, Carla. Our chalice lighting marks the beginning of our worship service. I will light our chalice here and share our reading. Then I invite you to light yours if you have one. If you like, you can use the chat to post the name of the street where the chalice was lit. Our chalice lighting today was written by Reverend Scott Taylor, inspired by and with the use of the words of John Shar. May this flame cast its light toward the coming days, reminding us that the future is not simply a place where we are going, but a place we are creating. The path of new possibilities will not be found, but made. A new world is waiting to be built. May our time together light the way.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ellen Quaadgras. I am the minister here at Westminster, and I also want to welcome all of you who are online and all of you who are in person to our worship service this morning. I confess I was a little doubtful when I woke up at 3 a.m. with thunder and lightning and the rain crashing against my window, whether this would even be possible. And look at this, the sun is even shining. So it's pretty amazing. I particularly want to thank our setup team today. That was Ronan and Linda Heavener. And I think there may have been others helping as well while I was inside doing some things to prepare for the service. So I really want to thank everyone who was involved in making the service possible today. It's definitely a little extra to do this outside and online. Our theme this month is possibility. And last week, we talked about a workable faith for unusual times. Today, let's imagine how we practice that faith. Given what is around us, and there's a lot around us, and given what is inside of us, how then shall we live? Let us deepen into worship with these words by Marianne Hecton Cotter. Welcome to this place of possibility. This is love's hearth, the home of hope, a refuge for minds in search of truth, unfolding, ever beautiful, ever strange. Here, compassion is our shelter, freedom, our protection from the storms of bigotry and hate. In this time together, may we find comfort and courage. May our sight become vision to see the unseen and to glimpse the good that is yet to be. Let us join in our opening hymn, which is Gathered Here. I invite those in person to hum along. I will say the words just so you have them in your mind while you hum. And of course, those folks at home, feel free to sing along. Please rise in body or in spirit. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered in one strong body, gathered in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near.
I just realized.
I've been wearing this and I keep forgetting I can take it off when I'm here at the mic. Let us join together for our Unison Affirmation, which is found in your order of service or in the chat. Love is the spirit of this church, and service our mission. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be seated. So here in this community, we are here for each other in a whole host of ways. And one of those is being present to each other in what is good and what is hard. I invite us all into a spirit of prayer or meditation. Spirits of life and love, holy mystery, may we hear the voice within us calling us to ask what's possible, to walk to the edge, to shed our fear and need for control, and dance with the infinite for a while. May we set down the list of wrongs and hurts and see obstacles as invitations for innovation, beckoning our creativity. May we hear each other's voices of love and encouragements and hear the cries of the world asking us, who do we choose to be? May we be vessels of comfort and compassion. May we be vessels of hope and healing. May we be vessels of peace and justice. May love prevail. In the name of all that is holy, may we lift up these prayers. Amen.
I invite you to take in these words as we hear and hum or sing the words of our song and response. Return again. You may remain seated for this hymn. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are born and reborn again.
Here at Westminster, we share our offering every month with a different organization that shares our values and our mission. This month, we share half our designated offering with Hope's Harvest, which mobilizes volunteers to collect unharvested produce and deliver it to people who need it. As an efficient and effective solution to the twin challenges of food waste and hungry people, farm-based food recovery strengthens our local food system and makes our communities less dependent on food shipped from thousands of miles away instead of what's in our own backyard. The other half of the offering goes to support the good work of this community. You can donate using the link that is now being put in the chat. If you are here in person, we ask that you use your cell phone to click on the donate button on the Westminster website, or you can leave your offering in the box on the table after with gratitude. Our reading this morning consists of 3 quotes about collaboration. The first is an African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. The second is from bipartisan project fellow Beverly Hudnut. Collaboration is not about gluing together existing egos. It's about the ideas that never existed until everyone entered the room. The last is from Saturday Night Live comedian Amy Poehler. As you navigate through the rest of your life, be open to collaboration. Find a group of people who challenge and inspire you. Spend a lot of time with them, and it will change your life.
A member once joked that she liked to tell people that coming to church was a lot like watching a good TED Talk. You know, full of interesting points, some good stories here and there, food for thought to take home. I like her assessment because I like TED Talks. I've watched a lot of them. But when I was reflecting on it, I thought to myself, we are not just a TED Talk. We're TED Talk Plus. We are TED Talks Max. We are TED Talk 3D. We're less like a video and more like a hands-on exhibit. And that holds whether you are online or right here. It's not just about taking ideas in. The magic is all in the action and in the interaction. It is September. It's the beginning of our congregational year, and it is a good time to ask ourselves, what are we doing here? Why do we even come? Especially when we could be spending this hour reading the New York Times or watching that latest TED Talk. Why attend church in whatever form we attend? Why would you interact, get to know people, give of yourself, give of your money even? Why be part of a church community at all? As mentioned last week, I talked a little bit about faith and why we might need it in the times we are in now. I talked about what some of us were taught about faith, which may or may not have been helpful. And I talked about what a forward moving faith might look like, at least in theory. It was something about living with humility, honoring complexity, accepting what already is, and living with compassion for self and other. Basically, living guided by love. But I probably don't need to tell you theory and practice are two different things. I can be quite a spiritual giant in my living room, at least in my own mind. In the real world, with real people and real situations, that is a different thing. So today I want to talk about living our values in the real world with those real challenges, and about how this congregation can help you do it. Taking that theory and making it real. So let's start with that first part about striving to live in love and where it does get hard in practice. If you're like most of us, you set really good intentions. You tell yourself you're going to be kind to your kids, your spouse, your coworkers, your family, and your neighbors. You'll be generous and grateful. You'll finish the report on time so you can get home for dinner and be there for homework with your kids. You'll finish your report. You'll go to the protest. You'll stop spending so much money on Amazon. You'll donate to the food bank instead. You'll call your sister Susie like you've been meaning to. You'll pay that stack of bills and you will mow the lawn before dusk. We start out pretty good. Dear God, so far I've done all right. I haven't gossiped, haven't lost my temper, haven't been greedy, grumpy, nasty, selfish, or overindulgent. I'm really glad about that. But in a few minutes, God, I'm going to get out of bed. And from then on, I'm going to need a lot more help. Most of us think it's just us who struggle to make our good intentions real. It seems easy, or at least easier, for other people. We forget there are reasons our good intentions leave most of us by lunchtime. There are reasons why we miss the deadline, get anxious, yell at the kids, the spouse, your computer, why we always seem to run out of time for the things we wanted to do that would be good for ourselves or other people by the end of the day. And it's not because we're bad or broken or singularly unworthy. No. The reason why it's hard to live in love is, I think, because our culture has built into it a lot that is not love. Our culture has some pretty unloving ideas floating around in it, ideas that we absorb through books and movies and peers and family and teachers and leaders everywhere. These ideas that we have been taking on through osmosis from childhood on. Like, you need to compete to get ahead. So you'd better keep your head down and look out for number one. That could distract you from being generous. Or there's the idea that resources are scarce and you should worry about losing what you have. You should worry about others taking it from you, and that could make you forget to be grateful. There's the idea that how people look is very important. You should judge others and yourself based on this. Almost everyone will fall short, and this can make it harder to be kind. There's the idea that everything is transactional, and by the way, so are you. Your value depends on how well you play the role you've been assigned, which could drain your innate sense of worth. And there is this insinuation out there that if you don't feel good, if you're not happy, there's something wrong with you. You probably need more therapy. Or wait, here's a drink, a pill, a vacation, a new car, a new couch, a snack, or a series of cat videos that will make you feel better. We'll pop it all up in your browser. It's just a click away. So that's all there. Not to mention racism, classism, sexism to make it all harder. And now COVID stress to ratchet up the heat. I have to tell you, as I was writing all this down, it felt like a weight on my chest was just getting heavier and heavier. And as I was reading it just now, it felt like the air was starting to get drained from the room or even out of this airy open space somehow. But the messages are out there, right? These ideas, they're tugging at us all the time, sucking the love and generosity and gratitude right out of the room. It's like there's a force field around us, and it gets inside us. A friend of mine called them the Dementors, like from Harry Potter, these lies about what's true about you and your life that play in your mind, and they suck the life right out of you. So that's the bad news. But here's the good news, because there is good news. I like the way author and theologian Parker Palmer puts it. The soul's order and life's hope can never be destroyed. Or in other words, no matter how far we get dragged off course by lies like these, no matter how often we give into them, no matter how deeply we believe them in any one moment, our fundamental human integrity cannot be lost. That idea is so important. I want to say it in Parker Palmer's words again: the soul's order and life's hope can never be destroyed. We may need a little help recovering that order and that integrity sometimes, though. We may need some support, some inspiration, some good love, and maybe even some tough love once in a while. And that's where this place can help. In the midst of our cultural swirl, we can create another force field. It came to me this summer when I was preparing to go visit my mom. Even just making the plane reservation, I felt a shift inside. I was going home. I was entering another world, a place that lifts me up, that reminds me where I came from, who my people are, and how loved I am. We can create another force field here, a place to come and know something different, a place with a deep, long history of striving to be kind and caring and enthusiastic and joyful and just. A place where we can help each other make that real. How? Well, it begins, and I think everything always begins with our relationship with ourselves. where the hard stuff on the outside does get to us on the inside, where those dementors get a little or a lot of us. So the first way this place can help is by encouraging you to build a personal spiritual life. Just you and yourself. Alone time, breathing time, you time, reflection time. Some personal practice. Maybe it's a few pages of journaling every morning to get the lies and the truth on paper where you can see them. Maybe it's meditation at some regular time during the day that you commit to. Maybe it's prayer. I know that can feel like a stretch for Unitarian Universalists, but there are some great books out there on prayer practices for UU theists and non-theists alike. Your personal spiritual practices can take many forms. The most important thing is that you do it, because it's that first level at which we begin to transform the hard stuff that can get trapped inside us. I once heard the best description of how this works. Let's say you make a mistake. You forget to follow through on something, or you said something you regret. It triggers the feeling, I failed. The feeling brings to mind all similar incidents of failure. In that moment, you can't see anything else. Now, it's not just that you failed one time. It's that this is just who you are. I am a jerk, a fool, a failure. There's that dementor growing in size until it's got a hold of you. It tells you you might as well give up. Doesn't matter what you do now, which leaves us vulnerable to seeking relief in these easy, counterproductive ways I described earlier. Spiritual practices train us to bring light and compassion to our thoughts and feelings, making us less vulnerable to losing our bearings. The more we can stay compassionate and loving with ourselves, the more we can be that way with others. The more we let the flurry and static of life settle to the bottom of the jar, the more we get glimpses of life's simple holiness, reminding us life is a gift. So, beginning to create a new force field through personal spiritual practice. And then we build on that through our relationships with each other. And this is where possibilities get even richer. I like the way one of our newest members and now program council coordinator, Bobby Scott, put it recently. Our respective groups are the door into the room of community. People who are interested in different things getting together in a women's group, a men's group, a book club, getting to feel part of something bigger. And she also said, connecting up with even one or two people makes me feel connected to humanity in a way I am looking for. We have no ultimate truth. We just know we can't do this alone. And we want to know each other. Here we get to connect with each other, make friends, build relationships. And even though we may unintentionally bring some of those tensions and confusions from our world right in here, we get to practice something else. It's why we create covenants together, to help us remember the values we strive to live together: open-mindedness, thoughtful speech, respect for the inherent worth and dignity of everyone, whether in the room or beyond it. And we create special groups too, like connection groups, where we are even more intentional about creating a space of trust and building intimacy, where we get to practice deep listening, creating a force field of warm attention that can draw out our own deeper truths. We get to learn again and again here how we want to be in relationship with other people, so we can carry that out into the world, to our families, to our workplaces, to our school systems, so that we might get glimpses of the holy through each other. And in that way, we strengthen our force field through our relationships. Which brings me to the third way this congregation can help you bring your hoped for faith to life. And that is through service. Taking your values, taking our values, and putting them into action, making them come to life, changing our communities, changing the world. Even if we feel discouraged about that when we arrive, even if the lies in our culture make it seem like it doesn't matter, even if we feel like what we do won't make a noticeable difference anyway. I'm reminded of the story of the person who went running through the streets, shouting the truth of what they saw. Power, greed, corruption. Power, greed, corruption. And while at first the townspeople listened attentively, eventually some of them started to go back to work. They were beginning to tune this person out, but the person stayed committed, kept running, kept shouting, kept advocating. One day, a child stepped forward and asked, "Dear elder, don't you see? No one is listening to you." "Of course I do," came the response. "I do not shout to change them. I do it so that they do not change me." We put our values into action for ourselves. Every time I put a stake in the sand and say, "This is what I stand for. This is what I will do. This is what my heart believes," we are chasing the dementors away. We are staking a claim to our values. We are inspiring each other and reconnecting with those deepest parts of ourselves, our own soul's order. It can be as simple as signing up to be a Caring Hands volunteer, or joining us for the hunger walk, or supporting our sharing locker. It can be as significant as teaching in our religious education program, being a board member or chair of the board, or organizing our church to get out the vote. There are countless ways to live your values through this place. And the cool thing about all these pieces, self, other, and service, is that they all reinforce each other. Our spiritual practices make it easier for us to be compassionate with ourselves and others. The relationships we build make service more rewarding. The service we do connects us with our soul's purpose and builds our relationships with each other, so that in the end, we might see more and more of the holy in ourselves, in each other, in our service, and in the world. Building that new force field that lifts us up, heals us, and shows us who we really are and who we really were meant to be. May it be so. Amen. And let us join in swaying and humming or singing to our final hymn, Come and Go With Me to That Land.
Please rise in body or in spirits. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where we are bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There will be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There will be freedom in that land where I'm bound. Amen. And our closing words. No matter what is going on around us, no matter how that impacts the insides of us, may we create something different here. A place where we can come home and that lifts us up. And to quote Amy Poehler, may we find a group of people that challenge and inspire us, spend a lot of time with them. It will change our lives. Amen. Go in peace. And we'll do our final song. Carry the flame. Carry the flame.